chapter 4 of MCP. Here's what we are doing today. We are not just diving deep into MCP, we are also looking for a major core concept of MCP, that is tools, prompt and resources. So we are not just looking for theory today, we are also diving deep into a practical knowledge, that is we are going for a live demo. Here's how it looks like. What's our setup today? Claude is our host application containing MCP client that will oracleize everything. In the server side, we have a various MCP servers hosting different capabilities. How does it work? MCP client invocates tools, queries and prompt templates, all through a standardized MCP protocols. But what here is getting excited? What external integrations are available? MCP ecosystem is explored with enterprise grade integration. Let me walk you through a major players. But what's exciting here? What external integrations are available? MCP ecosystem as explored with enterprise grade integration. Let me walk you through a major players. Project management integration. Asana provides task creation, assignment tools, while a linear offer issue tracking and project management. Atlassian covers a full development cycle with issue tracking, sprint management, and knowledge bases. When we take next financial and commercial integration, we have PayPal enabling the invoice creation and sales analytics. Square handling transcription and merchandise data management. We also have a providers like a finance matrix and usage of analytics. When it comes to our development and operations, we have Cloudflare offering a cloud service management and debugging tools, providing an intelligent error search and debugging capabilities. Customer and workflows management. In this we have intercom analysis supporting trends and customer issues. Zapier automates the workflow across thousands of applications through conversations.
Let's start where Kirtana has left. So first, would like to thank Kirtana for explaining and demonstrating the MCP servers in a proper way using the Claude desktop. Now what we are trying to do here is, so we want to make things simple. So I want you to understand what is MCP client, what is MCP server, and just work hands on so that before we move ahead and start writing the code for the MCP servers, it would be very clear in your mind, okay, this is what is MCP server and this is how it works. So now here in this entire scenario, we are using Claude desktop. So that's our MCP client. So now using this Claude desktop, we should be able to connect with various MCP servers. Now, are we building our own custom MCP servers? At this moment, no. So we are going to use the MCP servers which has been built by the Anthropic Claude. So let's demonstrate, let's try to understand each and everything in detail and then see it in a proper way. So now what you see on the screen is a Claude desktop, so which consists of a large language model behind. So this will be our client at this moment. Now if I come here, scroll down, add integrations, and this is where I can integrate this Claude desktop with an MCP servers. So now what do we call this integration? So there are custom integrations. What are these custom integrations? So custom integrations let you connect Claude directly to the tools and data sources that matter most to your workflows. So this enables Claude to operate within your favorite software and draw insights from the complete context of your external tools. The sole purpose of MCP is the model context protocol, just adding context to the LLM so that it will do as expected. So now you can do this integration in two ways. One is connect Claude to the existing remote MCP servers to build your own remote MCP servers to connect with any tool. But at this moment, our major focus is to use the existing remote MCP servers of Anthropic to understand the whole ecosystem in a nice way. So once you understand this entire functionality, of course, we can make our own MCP servers. So the whole agenda is to explain the concepts in a much simpler way so that we can execute in a much better way. So now, here you can see some of these integrations. What are remote MCP servers? If you want to understand, MCP is an open standard created by Anthropic for AI applications to connect to tools and the data. Now, previously, MCP servers primarily ran locally. That's on user's laptop. So the servers used to be local servers, and the Claude used to connect with that, and it used to fetch some information from the local laptop or desktop. But now developers can build and host remote MCP servers that communicate with AI apps over the internet. Now, so MCP is what making LLM to speak to the internet in a much simpler way with a unified protocol. So we should all thankful to the Anthropic for bringing this. And remote MCP servers give models access to internet hosted tools and data, transforming Claude into an informed teammate that can independently handling complex and multi-step projects tailored to your needs. And here, at this moment, our client is Claude desktops. You just replace the Claude desktop and you can have your own AI application, and that will become your client. So, and your MCP servers remain same, and your AI application will be able to communicate with the MCP servers with the internet using these MCP servers. So now, if you want to build your own MCP servers, so that you need to write a bit of piece of code. So we will do it in chapter number 5. So at this moment, our major focus is to understand the functionality of MCP servers and get hands-on of MCP servers, how it looks, what they do, and what all we can do in collaboration with client and MCP servers. So that's what is the major focus here. So now, just to add on to the MCP servers, here, let me go back to the new chat, and then here, if you just click here, you will be able to find some of the MCP servers which has been created but not yet connected: Eclipse, Asana, Square, and other things. Of course, Drive Search, which is connected with the Google Drive, and then similarly Gmail Search. So now, if I click here onto the Add Integrations, so this is where I can add more MCP servers. So by default, if I just get back to my presentation, so these are the few remote MCP servers which are available, and you can see that these are the URLs for that particular MCP servers. So for Asana, it is mcp.asana.com, and these are all, of course, hosted by the Anthropic. So these are Anthropic remote MCP servers. The same way, you can host your own MCP servers, and that can be integrated with AI application, which is your client. So this is the major point I want to communicate. That's the reason I'm showing this entire show. So now let's try to build another. Let's try to integrate one of the remote MCP server with our Claude desktop. So I'll just copy this URL, and I'm going to get back to my MCP Claude desktop, and within this I'll just click on Add Integration. So here I'll just give this integration name as linear, and my MCP server is spinning at this URL. So I'll just paste this, and this is what it's asking. So this integration has not been verified by Anthropic. You're responsible for all actions taken with the Claude. Of course we do. So I would just like to go ahead and add. So now I've just created this integration. Now I just need to connect with I have an MCP servers which is spinning. So now I just need to connect. I just need to give an approval so that this MCP server which will be connected with my linear tool. So that's where I just need to give approval. So once I get approvals, I'll just continue with the Google. And once I give approval, so my linear MCP server will be spinning. Of course, I'll just give MCP basics. That's what the workspace name. And so once this has been created, so our Anthropic Claude desktop will able to communicate with it, and it can do a lot of activities. I'm gonna select the dark. So Control K, that's fine. And of course, authenticate with GitHub. Yeah. So I just need to set up my. So this is what the overall thing. I just need to get the authentication code, and then once I complete all these steps, so my MCP server would be spinning, and then it will be ready to be integrated completely with my desktop. So I'm just going back. So I'm just interrupting in between. I'm just trying to show this the entire MCP server process. However, so let me go back now, and so MCP requesting access. So that's how it works. And here you can see the linear, and then so one more integration, you got it here. That's a linear one. So once you connect, you will be able to communicate and speak, do, and a lot of tasks within it. So that's what is the fundamentally the MCP servers. And so we have a lot of remote MCP servers that can be used simply. So your LLM can speak to all of your apps. Example, it is an Asana. So within Asana, what all you can do, you can see that you can create, search, and assign tasks and deliverables. With Atlassians, you can track issues, manage sprints, and Cloudflare, you can able to build, manage, and debug cloud services. And then linear, you will able to search for and create issues, projects, and comments. And you have the Zapier. Within the Zapier, you can automate workflows across thousands of apps via conversation. And that's how your LLM is becoming much more capable and powerful. So that's how the whole server things work. I hope you got it. So now let's move to the next one. So now we have seen the MCP servers. Now I would like to look into the MCP tools, because we have covered MCP client, which fundamentally we have used the Claude desktop here, and then Kirtana has explained the MCP servers and I have demonstrated it. So now we would like to get into the MCP tools. So what are MCP tools now? So let's use some of those MCP tools. Now let's see MCP tools in action. What exactly is an MCP tool? It is an executable function. An MCP tool is an executable function that the AI can call to perform specific actions. So we will do hands-on and write all those things when we create an MCP server. Within that, we write functions, prompt template, we write the resources, etc., everything. But for now, let's try to understand the functionality of each and everything before even we start writing that. So that's what the main motto. So let me show you 3 different types of tools. So first one, let me get back to our Anthropic Claude. So the first one is a web search tool that you can clearly see here. Either this web search tool is put on and it's been toggled on, and I have one more tool which is extended thinking. Of course, first we want to look into the web search tool, and so let's experiment it. So let me type, or let me just take it directly, so I don't want to waste your time. Let me take this, what are the latest breakthroughs in AI safety for 2025. So let me take this one and paste it here and execute, and let's see what is going to happen. So here, watch what happens? Claude's MCP client recognizes this needs external information. It invokes the web search tool on the web search MCP server, receives a structured results, and integrates them into the response. So the tool handles the complex web search and result parsing. So Claude just got clean, structured data. So that's what is exactly happening at this moment. So now let's try to wait for the response. So here is our AI safety research paper. So total it has researched around 427 sources. It has not left even one. So okay, even the archive.org 28 sources, government.uk 14 sources. I think it has done the very extensive research and then it has built a paper. So which is AI safety breakthroughs, which is 2025's the pivotal year. So it's of course everywhere it has mentioned the references. That's a brilliant piece of detailed paper it has created. Of course, it took some 5 minutes, but it has built a brilliant one. So this is one of the two. This is tool type 1. So now let's explore the tool type 2. So now what we're going to do is we are going to use a Google Drive research without even mentioning. So of course, but before that, you need to add your Google Drive. You have to integrate that. So here, if you come to this, you just need to toggle this Drive search beta. And once you do that, you just need to authenticate that server with your Google account. And once that's done, it will be able to access your files. So now I'm not gonna select any particular repository or anything. I've just my Google Drive remote MCP server is running. So what I would like to do is I would just give a simple. So now, so here, if you see the tool type 2, I'm going to use find my quarterly planning documents from 2024. More than that, I'm not going to mention anything else. And let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what else is going to happen at this moment. So my prompt is find my quarterly planning documents from 2024. Beyond that, I'm not mentioned anything else. So here is the internal data retrieval in action. The MCP client calls the Google Drive search tool, which is basically a piece of function which might be written in Google Drive remote MCP server, which queries your authenticated Drive account. Of course, you need to authenticate your Drive account. And notice how the tool maintains security. It only accesses what you have authorized and returns a structured file information that Claude can understand and act upon. So that's what you are able to see here. So it is searching for the quarterly planning documents. It could not find much here, and then it's unable to find it because I did not add any particular document in that way. So that's the reason it is not able to find. I'm just testing out the overall process. How will it work? So it has searched for Google Drive for quarterly planning document from 2024. So these are the initial query it has used. Then the next query it has tried is quarterly planning documents 2024 business planning goals objectives. Then this is done. This is the query. Then finally, planning documents 2024 business plan, strategic planning. So that's it has tried with all types of queries, and finally, it did not find anything because I have not added any document similar to that, not even a single. So that's the reason it's unable to fetch it. But that's absolutely fine. So let's move ahead with the tool type 3. So this time what we're going to do is here we are going to do an analyze or computation. So let me get back to this. So this is what we are going to upload a CSV file and analyze the sales data and create visualization. So let me copy this first and then let me get back to my Claude desktop. So I'm just pasting it here. So this is what I want to do. And I'm going to upload the .csv file, which is on sales data sample. And here it is. And now once it's been updated, let's use it. And this is one type of tool. So now, so this actually demonstrates computational tools. So the analysis tool, so basically it's a computational tool. The analysis tool can process data, run calculations, generate charts. So all while maintaining the MCP protocol's clean separation between the AI's reasoning and the server's specialized capabilities. So that's what we are going to see. Let's wait and see what will be the outcome here. So this is the analysis which is going on. So you're neither writing a code, not doing anything. Rest, everything is being done by that particular tool. And that's why we call this tool as the computational tool of the MCP. Okay, let's wait. I think it's quickly ready. So now it has gone into the building a dashboard, which it is calling it as a sales data analysis dashboard. So a nice HTML based. Let's see. I have added a little bit of complex data and what kind of outcome we're gonna get here. Let's wait and see. Here is the sales data analysis dashboard that you can see on screen. So total sales, average order value, total orders, unique customers, unique products, and with the nice, tooltip, sales by product line, top 10 countries by sales, and you have the monthly sales trend and then sales distribution by deal size. That's crazy. In addition to that, you got the nice key insights, and of course you can publish this and copy the link and share it. So that's what we got over here. So that's the one of the tool that we have discussed. So just to sum it up, what is the MCP protocol flow here? So host receives query, MCP client determines the appropriate tool, and MCP server executes function, data flows back, client processes and responds. A beautiful orchestration of entire thing, what you have seen here. So that's the overall MCP protocol from MCP host, MCP client, MCP server, and data flow back, and then finally client processes and response. That's what our client here is Anthropic Claude, and MCP host, our host here is the one which hosts the Anthropic Claude application. So that's it. So now let's go to the next slide, which is our MCP resources. So what is the difference between tools and resources? Tools are functions you call, resources are data you access. Let me demonstrate it. So the first demonstration is, let's upload a PDF and ask them to summarize the key policies from this document. So let me copy this prompt And let me get back to I'm going to create a new chat and paste it here. And then let me upload a Word policy doc, which is LIC project, which is open in internet. Anywhere you can download it, the free PDF version. So, and let me execute and see what's going to happen. So watch very carefully here. Claude isn't just reading a file. The file system MCP server is exposing this document as a resource. Claude's MCP client queries for the content through the standardized protocol. Crucially, this is a read-only access. Resources can be queried but not modified through the MCP resource interface. So now if you see this particular prompt, so the overall, it has summarized the entire, because we have asked them to summarize the key policies from this document. And here you can see the plan overview is non-linked participating individual life insurance savings plan, and the premium is single lump sum payment at policy inception and unique identification number. And then what are the key benefits and eligibility terms and key policies, settlement options, and everything has been done very nicely. And this document here is a resource. Now let's do one more magic now. So this time what we are going to do is, let's try to give multiple resources and ask our Anthropic Claude, which is our host and then client, to identify what data resources does it have. So let me go back to my demo 2, and if you just want to see the resource access pattern for the previous one, client detects need for a file access, server exposes the document as a resource, the MCP server, and client queries for the content, and it will get a read-only access enforced, and client processes and responds back. And let's get back to the second use case here, and let me go back to my MCP Anthropic Claude. Now I'm gonna just click on new chat and paste my prompt here and upload the maximum number of files. So one is Excel, second one is the JSON, and third one the PDF, and I'm also gonna add a .csv file. So I have added the multiple resources. So let's get, so these things got uploaded. Now let me execute and see the response. So my prompt is, what data resources do I have available, basically for the MCP client. So here, so based on the documents you have uploaded, you have access to several data resources. So one is house price dataset, which is basically the .json format, and you have the GDP data, which is .xlx, and you have the sales data sample, which is .csv, and LIC insurance plan document, which is PDF format. So this is what the information, so it's able to clearly identify them as a resources. So see how Claude can identify and describe different resource types. So each file becomes a resource exposed by the appropriate MCP server. The client can query resource schemas, understand data structure, and access content all through the same MCP protocol. So now if you see, the resources cannot be modified, the first point, and there are multiple types of resources. It can be documents, databases, and API responses. Then you have a server exposure. One server can expose multiple resource types. That's a brilliant thing of this MCP. Now, what is a key principle here? Resources provide context to the AI model. They are the information state. the tools can create, modify, or analyze. So tools are the one who does the function, and it has adds a functionality to the AI application, whereas your resources are the information state. So one MCP server can expose multiple resource types, and the client handles them all uniformly. Brilliant thing of the MCP. So now let's move on to the next. What else is left? The most important one, which is MCP prompt templates. So now for the third primitive, which is prompt templates, what are these exactly? So they are structured interaction patterns that ensure consistent, high quality AI responses for specific use cases. So let's start with the template one. Okay. So template one, what we're going to do is it's kind of a technical documentation we would request you to create. So we'll ask it to create an API documentation and let's see how it's going to do it. If it has some template designed, a prompt template designed, we will get very structured response. If not, we will get some random response and let's see what kind of response we are going to get it. So notice what happens. Claude doesn't just start writing. It follows a structured template pattern, overview and authentication. So endpoints documentation, examples and testing, SDK integration. So this consistency comes from the prompt template that guide the interaction flow. And that's what you have observed here. So basically, it has asked multiple questions, and so based on these questions, it will provide all that information. You see that API documentation that includes, so it follows this a structured interaction process. So now let's try the template type 2, which is a data analysis framework. So here what we're going to do is let's try to analyze this business data for insights. So let me take, I have the .csv file as well as .xlsx. Let me see. And I just need to upload the, so let me get back to my Claude desktop. So here, let me upload the file. I have the GDP data, and let me go with the sales data sample so it will be much easier. And let me click on. So let's see how this gonna analyze this entire data. Let's just observe and see. You can clearly observe a step-by-step approach. So you can see that structured approach. Phase one is data understanding, and phase two is analysis execution. And then it will go for the phase three, which is again the insights and the recommendation. So this isn't just a random, it's following a prompt template that ensures a true methodical analysis. So you can clearly observe what exactly is happening on the screen. So yeah, you got the entire result here. So you got the executive summary, then performance trends, and then product performance and geographical distribution, and then you got the customer insights, and finally you got the deal size distribution and the overall strategic recommendations. You see this is very structured. Why? Because it is using the prompt template. So how does a template interpolation works? So a template interpolation process, the MCP client recognize templates suitable requests. The server exposes the structured template and the interpolation applies the template to your specific need. And you get consistent, structured responses. It's like having expert methodology built into the protocol. So now let's move on to the next slide. So now, so far we have seen and identified the MCP servers and how it works and some examples of it. Then we have looked into the primitives of MCP, which are MCP tools, MCP resources, and MCP prompt templates. And now let's move ahead one step and we will look into the advanced MCP integrations. So what about external MCP servers beyond Anthropic's built-in ones? So let's explore advanced integration. So GitHub integration is what we are going to explore at this moment. So let me get back to my Anthropic Claude with the new chat, and here it is. And when I click here, you will be able to see add from the Google Drive. So here what we can do is we can add any file from the Google Drive and we will ask it to do something. So this actually represents a powerful external MCP server. What capabilities does it expose? So with respect to the GitHub MCP server, so it exposes the repository tools for browsing and editing files, issue management for tracking and updating, and pull request tools for code review and workflows, and branch management for Git operations, all through standardized MCP primitives. So what we can do is we can do a Google Drive integration expansion. So beyond the basic search, it expanded to the next thing. What we can do is the Google Drive. But at this moment, we can simply explore the GitHub first. So now if you come here in the integration, so you just need to put on your GitHub. So for the Google search, you can just need to put on the Google Drive search here. And when it comes to the GitHub, and you need to integrate your GitHub account with this one. I have already done it, so that's the reason you're able to see few of them. So I'm gonna just go back to my ndimensions.ai. So here you'll able to see few files, and so let me select one of the Google Stitch, and I'm gonna get into this. So let me select the prompt category is this file, and let me ask about, can you summarize this file, which is there in the my GitHub repository ndimensions.ai. Can you summarize this file, which is the part of the pair vibe coding that we are doing? Let's wait and see. So that file is in GitHub, and let's see, is it able to access it and then get all the information from it. Of course, it can edit, delete, and do multiple operations. And so this is what it's talking about. It consists of the main categories, advanced techniques, quality, focus. Of course, it's able to capture because I know this is a pair vibe coding we have done for the Google Stitch. And now what we are going to do is let's get into the second integration, which is Google Drive search. This is to put it off. Once you put it off, you don't have much access. So what we can do is let's put this on, which is drive search, and then you can ask anything, it's gonna fetch it. And then so here, beyond the basic search with respect to the Google Drive, it can be expanded into drive integration, including file browsing tools, document editing capabilities, folder management, and sharing tools. And each function is exposed as an MCP tool, following the same protocol patterns we have seen. So here we can ask information about, summarize the folder structure of Avarta Life. Let's wait and see what it's gonna fetch for us. So it has started searching the Google Drive to find information about the Avarta Life folder structure. Yeah, it has already found 5 results. Avarta Life API computation repo, Gemini API computation repo, it actually captured what is required. And then folder structure content files, it has fetched the next information. And let me search for specific documents and files within the Avarta project and understand the content structure. So now it has searched, identified the structure. Now it is summarizing the entire stuff. Basically, to do all this, one side it is using the tools which are functions written, and it is using the prompt template to give a very proper and structured response. And here is the Avarta Life folder structure summary. And that's a brilliant job done by the Claude and our MCP. So that's what is about the advanced MCP integrations. So why does this matter? So ready? Why does this matter? Because any service can become an MCP server. The protocol is universal, whether it's Anthropic servers, Google services, or your custom internal systems. You can do all those things. How wonderful it is. So now let's move on to because now we have seen entirety of MCP. We have covered the most of the important aspects when it comes to the functionality side. Now let's stitch all together. And now let's look into the complete MCP workflow. So ready for the grand finale? Let's orchestrate MCP servers, multiple MCP servers in a complex workflow. So here is our scenario. So basically, let's see whatever the tools, resources, templates, servers that we have seen so far will come together and do something for us. So I'm going to give a prompt, something similar to that. So help me prepare a comprehensive Q4 performance report using our internal data. If not, go for the market search and then as well as the competitive analysis. So let me go back to my new chat and just present it. Rest all it's gonna do. So what all it's gonna do, let's try to understand from here. So first it's gonna start with probably with the external market research. When it comes to the external market research, so it's gonna use the web search MCP server. So this requires different servers working. So one is web search MCP server. This will go out and do an external market research. And action is find a Q4 performance documents. And then you have the Google Drive MCP server. So it will do an internal performance. It will look into the internal performance documents. Then you have the data analysis MCP server, and you have the analysis MCP server, which does the data processing and calculations. And you have the final one, which is basically the prompt template server, which gives a proper structure to create a business report. And is basically stitching all together, and that's how it works. And you can see it started researching and it has already found a tool, resource and prompt, something with the Q4. And then so the first level, it is doing trying to identify the documents from the Google Drive, and after that it's going to go for the next level, which is in web search and parallelly. So now let me search for the current market research and competitive analysis data on the web to supplement your. So that's the next step. So one is the Google Drive search, and then second one is market search, which is web search, and then third one is analysis MCP server, and final the last nail in the coffin is to use the prompt template to summarize everything and put and give the structured response. And fundamentally, that's what is happening. It has already started the web search, and here it found the 10 result, and here it found another 10 results. Now it's gonna search for industry trends, and once it finds all this information, so it's gonna put it into the proper structure, and we're gonna find. So now, based on my comprehensive research of both your internal data and current market conditions, I will show you and create a brilliant Q4 2024 market performance report. And this consists of everything in detail. Of course, the numbers are added properly, so that's not an issue. So this is the overall orchestration of all the tools together. So what makes this powerful? Claude's MCP client orchestrates all 4 servers seamlessly. You make one request, but behind the scenes, multiple specialized systems collaborate through standardized protocol. So watch this, how each server contributes its specialization, specialized capabilities, while the MCP client maintains the overall workflow coherence. So now, we have seen a brilliant demo. Let's move ahead. What we have ahead. So what should we expect from our complex workflow? So specific to the previous demo, notice that the comprehensive structure, the executive summary with the target achievement metrics, financial performance with the detailed breakdowns, regional analysis with geographic insights, and a market context with competitive position. So how did MCP make this possible? So the first step, the MCP client orchestrated 4 different servers. One is web search provided market context, and the Google Drive supplied internal data. Analysis server processed the numbers, and template servers applied a business report structure. So what's remarkable here, you made one request, but 4 specialized systems collaborated transparently. That's the power of MCP's standardized protocol. A complex orchestration made very simple. So now let's move on to the next slide. It's fundamentally the overall MCP architecture summary, just to make it simple for you, and then remind everything one more time. So let's consolidate our understanding. What have we demonstrated about MCP architecture so far? So it's a 3-layer architecture. One is your host application, Claude's interface where you interact, at least for this demonstration. 2, your MCP client, Claude's internal system that orchestrates workflow is your MCP client. Then you have the MCP servers, so service providers that expose specialized capabilities, and we have used multiple. And if you want to see here, you can see a few. So let me go to a new chat, and so here I have already attached few. So drive search, You have the Atlassian, SNR, Square Up, Linear, and you can add the more integration to this. So these are all MCP remote servers. You can make your own custom MCP servers by writing the code, and that's what we are going to do as we go ahead. So then we have the most important, this is the overall three-layer architecture. In MCP server, we have three core primitives. One, tools. Tools are nothing but the executable functions, kind of search, analysis, analyze, create, update. And you have the resources. Resources are nothing but an accessible data. So files, databases, API responses. And you have the prompt template, which is nothing but the structured interaction patterns, kind of frameworks and methodologies. So what makes this architecture so powerful? Clean separation of concerns. The client focuses on AI reasoning and workflow orchestration. Servers focus on their specialized domains. So the protocol ensures a secure, standardized communication. So that's what the overall the game of the MCP. So that's the reason it's so powerful. So how does this align with Anthropic's vision? So MCP creates a universal standard where any service can become an AI accessible server, and any AI application can leverage standardized capabilities. So it is the USB-C of AI in action. So now let's move ahead with the final slide, and where we'll look into the key takeaways. So we have what we have proven today. MCP isn't just a protocol specification. It is a living, working system that's transforming how AI applications connect to the world. So what we have demonstrated so far, a clear architecture, host, client, and server separation working seamlessly. Two, tool diversity, search, analysis, and integration from multiple specialized servers. Three, resource access, read-only data access from files, databases, and APIs. Four, template power, structured interaction patterns ensuring consistent quality. Five, a multiple server orchestration, so which is complex workflows using coordinated services. So why MCP matters for your work? According to the Anthropic's documentation, MCP solves the fundamental connectivity problem. Before MCP, every AI application needed custom integrations for every data source. With MCP, you build a standardized servers once, and any MCP compatible client can use them. So what is the real advantage? We have seen Claude orchestrate web search, internal documents, data analysis, and report templating in a single workflow. That's 4 different domains unified through one protocol, and this is why major companies are adopting MCP. It transforms AI from isolated intelligence to connected capable systems. So now what's next? What's the next chapter? So the quick next chapter preview is we have moved from we have seen the history of MCP and the reason for the genesis of MCP, and then the benefits and advantages of MCP. That's what is why MCP in the chapter 2. Chapter 3, we have looked into the MCP. And then in chapter 4, we have looked deep into the MCP architecture, and we have done a lot of demos for the MCP servers and MCP tools, templates, and resources. And now in chapter 5, we'll show you how to build your own MCP servers. You will create custom tools, expose your data as resources, design prompt templates, and connect them to Claude. So the infrastructure we have demonstrated today, you can extend it with your own specialized capabilities. So that's what is the MCP revolution, and we have moved from AI that can think to AI that can act in the real world. And you're just seeing exactly how that works. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next chapter, MCP, which is the chapter 5, where we are going to demonstrate the MCP tools with our own code. Till then, just keep vibing with MCP, and thank you.